Yeah, we back. Yeah, we back. Now, listen, man, we're going to talk about Lil Durk. We're going to talk about Lil Durk, man. Now, of course, on my channel, typically, I like to talk about black men of high caliber. But, this story is too big to ignore. So, we're going to get down in the trenches today. We're going to get down in the trenches. And then we're going to talk about Lil Durk, right? This story is too big to ignore. Now, in case you didn't know, take a look up on the screen. Grammy-winning rapper Lil Durk has been charged with orchestrating a 2022 Los Angeles murder. Now, where does the situation stem from? If you take a look up on the screen, you'll see Lil Durk to the left, and then to the right, behind him, you'll see another gentleman by the name of King Von, one of his close associates, one of his day one homies. Unfortunately, in the present day, King Von is no longer with us. He was murdered a few years back in a physical confrontation between himself and another rapper and his entourage. Now, of course, as we all know, Lil Durk and King Von were very close, going all the way back to the early days in the south side of Chicago. And as Durk was on the come up, I believe Von was in prison. So when Von came out of prison, Durk was already solidified in the game, already made a name for himself, already made some money in the industry. So of course, he gonna help his brothers out, right? He gonna put his brothers on. So then Von stepped into the game, started dropping songs, started dropping videos, started dropping projects, started building a fan base of his own, started actually getting booked for shows. Now, unfortunately, one night, apparently before a concert or after a concert, King Von got into a physical conversation with the entourage of another rapper by the name of Quando Rondo. And one of the members of his entourage, Quando Rondo's entourage, pulled out a weapon and shot and killed King Von. It was a completely random physical confrontation. It was not a premeditated murder. It was just spur of the moment. Everybody just scrapping, everybody beefing. Somebody pulls out a weapon to protect his homie. Shots fired, somebody dies. Unfortunately. Now, where Lil Durk comes in is Lil Durk was recently arrested, I believe yesterday, for ordering the retaliatory murder to avenge the honor of King Von. And the victim of this murder was supposed to be Quando Rondo, but unfortunately, the assassins that were sent by Lil Durk, apparently they're very terrible marksmen, so they missed the target and they accidentally killed Quando Rondo's cousin. And now Lil Durk has been arrested for the murder of that victim. Conspiracy, murder for hire, etc., etc. Now, let's get into it. Let's take a look at some of the evidence so far that has been released in the case. But before we get into that, did you know that just a few days before this arrest was made, that Lil Durk was given the keys to the city in Chicago? Take a look up on the screen. Lil Durk honored with the keys to the city, hosts a prayer event and a sellout concert. Now, of course, a few days after, when he was arrested and all that, Lil Durk's key to the city has been revoked after a murder for hire arrest just a week after receiving it. Now, first of all, the fact that he was even eligible for the key to the city just confirms what I said about why is this the caliber of black men that the mainstream, I don't want to say the mainstream media or mainstream society, wants to portray to the world as the ambassador for black men. Somebody who has been linked to shootouts and gang activity and murder for hire plots and all this nonsense. He's the one who's getting the keys to the city. And man, it's these guys when every 4 years when the Democrats and the Republicans want to run for election, they call up somebody like this talking about, hey, tell the young black man go vote. I've spoken about this on my channel so many times, right? The black men that get the most visibility are the entertainers, the rappers, those involved in street activity, right? It's never the black scientist, never the black engineer, never the black business leader. We never talk about him. He's never held in high esteem to the same degree. I don't know, man. I mean, nothing against the ball players and the rappers, but man, y'all hogging up the goddamn cameras, man. You hogging up the microphone, bro. You know what I'm saying? You hogging up the microphone, man. Nothing against what you do. You definitely, provide your service to society in your own individual way, but you guys got to stop being held up high as our cultural ambassadors. That shit got to stop. Anyway, let's jump into some of these articles. The authorities say that Durk made it known that he would pay a bounty to anyone who killed Quando Rondo. Almost 2 years later, a murder plot quickly came together. On August 18, 2022, Durk's associates learned that Quando Rondo was staying at a Los Angeles hotel. That day, DeAndre Wilson, Keith Jones, and David Lindsay, Asa Houston, and a fifth unnamed suspect flew from Chicago to San Diego and then drove to Los Angeles using funds provided by Durk. Now, that's not even the craziest thing to me. The craziest thing to me was this right here, man. Take a look at this headline right here. Take a look up on the screen. Lil Durk was attempting to flee the country on a private jet hours before the arrest. Lil Durk was attempting to flee the country. According to the indictment, the rapper booked at least 3 international flights following the murder for hire arrest of 5 people associated with OTF. That's Lil Durk's squad, OTF, only the family. The indictment shows that law enforcement personnel arrested a 32-year-old upon his arrival at a Miami area airport. These dudes be watching way too much goddamn TV. These dudes be watching way too many movies, man. So Lil Durk woke up the other day and said that I'm going to flee the country. I'm going to flee the United States of America, right? Federal charges coming down. I'm hopping on a plane and I'm going to a foreign nation. I'm going to be honest. This is one of the worst escape plans that I've ever heard, especially when you understand all the tools that the United States government has at its disposal to keep track of its citizens. The government has Border Patrol, Customs, TSA, flight manifest, facial recognition, phone tracking, credit card alerts. The airport security gonna be like, hey, that's Lil Durk. Like, what did he think was about to happen, man? If he really wanted to escape, like, I'm gonna give a hypothetical scenario. I'm not encouraging none of y'all to do this. You know, I'm not encouraging any of y'all to break the law. But in a hypothetical scenario where you had to seek vengeance for a loved one and you had to escape, there are better ways that you can go about this, man. You know, hopping on a damn private jet or a local flight is not the way to go about it, bro. You know, if he really wanted to escape the country, you could have jumped in the shipping container, right? Headed to a small Caribbean island. Instead of going straight to the airport, you could have just drove to the Mexican border. But instead, this guy books an international flight, 3 international flights, goes straight to the airport after having a warrant out put out for his arrest by the federal government on charges of murder for hire. Listen, man, the moment that you book the flight, the moment that you use your card to book the flight, the federal government already knew that Lil Durk just purchased a flight headed to this country. Now let's continue. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection alerted the FBI that Lil Durk had booked 2 one-way flights to Dubai and Switzerland just hours before his apprehension. FBI officials later learned that Lil Durk also booked a private plane to flee to Italy. Yo, you guys, man, y'all gonna go to you on the run from the federal government, and the first thing that comes to your mind is I'm gonna go live amongst the Arabs. Yo, bro, y'all boys got self-hate, man. Y'all boys got self-hate. The first place you think of going is I'm gonna go to Italy amongst the Italians. Yo. This guy's on the run from the white man. And the first places he thinks of going is some of the most racist nations in the entire world. You're not going to tell me that's not due to ignorance or self-hate. I'm telling you, man, you should have threw yourself in a shipping container and headed somewhere to Africa. I'm telling you, you could have lived like an oligarch somewhere in Botswana. And this is something else. The same way he could have booked that flight, he could have hopped online and figured out which nations do not have an extradition agreement with the United States. And last time I checked, I could be wrong, but I believe that Dubai, Switzerland, and Italy, they all have treaties with the United States. So his plan was doomed from the start. Let's say he successfully landed in any of these 3 locations. The United States would have initiated a process to get him back to the country in no time. Man would have been right back in federal prison in no time. Man could have went to Angola. You could have went to Burkina Faso. You could have went to Mali, right? You could have went to Burundi. Could have went to the Congo and lived like a king amongst the blacks. But, you know, like I said, man, that self-hate had you thinking about Dubai. And the funny thing is, them Arabs would have handed you over in no time. And one last thing, too, you know, we got to talk about it, man. Like I said, guys like Lil Durk, I never respected. I never respect you guys who you only are able to assert your dominance against another black man. You are only courageous against another black man, right? But when it comes to the other man, when it comes to the record executives, when it comes to the managers, when it comes to these outside groups that profit off your albums and all this other shit, right? I notice you guys are very respectful, right? You guys aren't calling murder for hire assassination plots against these other men. It's only against the black man, right? The black man gets the murder for hire assassination. How come when the policeman came around and said, put your hands behind the back, how come you said, yes, sir, yes, sir? But when the black man comes around, the black man looks at you the wrong way. The black man steps on your shoes. All of a sudden, it's beef, right? But how come when the other man came to get you, how come it was sir, yes, sir? All right, yes, sir. Can I speak to my lawyer, sir? Come on, man. Y'all got to stand on business and keep the same energy all the way around, right? And if you want to live a life of violence, right? You want to be a shot caller calling assassinations. Go join the military, bro. Become a leader. Get into an organized framework where that energy could actually mean something instead of this clown show bullshit y'all be doing, shooting each other at the gas station, trying to flee to Italy like it's a James Bond movie. I don't know what the fuck y'all doing. If you want to do shit like that, then go become a politician, become a commander in chief, become a general in the army where you could actually do something like that. And it actually, you're dying for a cause or you're dying for something that you believe in. But y'all be doing this for, I don't know what y'all be doing it for an image, for clout. I don't know, man, but I don't know. And while I do understand the sentiment of seeking vengeance to avenge the honor of a fallen loved one, you have to understand that you're just a rapper, bro. You're just a rapper. You don't have the clout. You don't have the connections or the power to pull off moves like this. Oh, I'm about to go, call an assassination and then go flee the country. No, you don't have the clout to do that. That's why I said you got to become a politician. You got to become a high-ranking member involved in geopolitics where you could, knock folks off and get away with it. Like, you're just a rapper, bro. You're just a dumb rapper, So it's like, you got to understand your role in society. You're just a dumb rapper. So that's all you are. That's all you're ever going to be, just a dumb rapper. So you have to, maybe you forgot who you are. So I got to remind you, you're just a dumb rapper. So you got to stay in your lane, bro. So anyways, man, it's your boy Neferkari, that's the lane back in the building. Yes, indeed. Cash App in the description. Support the channel, man. Support the album. Peace.
No. Feel like I'm 75. Know that your team be full of them traders. You know that can never be mine. I'm grabbing a thought when I drive. I'm back in my zone and we on. She said that she ready to come be my wife. Yeah, hoping I don't do her wrong. I gave her my word and it's bond. I'm whipping the best like a lamb. I'm eating no chicken and lamb. Accustomed to call me the man. I never be up on the gram. I'm keeping that way undercover. She want me to tell her I love her. I told her I'm breaking the rules. I told her we making the news. Back in my city, they loving me. Standing alone, I'm 100 deep. Enemy plotting and still in reach. They try to make sure that we underneath. Trying to make sure that we never make it. Coming for power, come get acquainted. Coming for everything that I wanted. Feeling like Drake, but I really wrote it. Feeling like Kendrick, I'm checking names. Gotta roll up while I go insane. Got so much stress, I been gained weight. Stuffing these racks in this Louis case. One thing for certain, I'm about to check. Keep it 100 and nothing less. Stick with the family since day one. Had to stay down till my day come. Had to stay down, but I'm never patient. Hop on the mic and I'm motivated. Hop on the mic and I drop a classic. Haters can't see me, they copping glasses. Back in the studio making magic. Got a new tape and it's in production. Back on my business, I got a budget. Staying low key when I'm out in public. Feel like I'm 75. Know that your team be full of them traders. You know that can never be mine. I'm grabbing a thought when I drive. I'm back in my zone and we on. She said that she ready to come be my wife. Yeah, hoping I don't do her wrong. I gave her my word and it's bond. I'm whipping the best like a lamb. I'm eating no chicken and lamb. Accustomed to call me the man. I never be up on the gram. I'm keeping that way undercover. She want me to tell her I love her. I told her I'm breaking the rules. I told her we making the news.